today we'll be drawing on a canvas magnet, a glass candy jar, and of course, my sketchbook. This video is going to be packed with heaps of fun, so get ready for it. Hey magical sparks, welcome back to my channel, it's Sparkle, and today we're going to be trying out an art supply that was very kindly sent to me from the company Ohuhu. So they recently launched their Ohuhu Nahuku 48 marker set this year, and I'm so excited to try it out in today's video. Now, if the name Nahuku sounds familiar or rings any bells, that's because I did try out the Ohuhu Nahuku 24 marker set earlier this year, and it was super fun to work with. But today we're going to be trying out their brand new 48 color set, which actually comes with 3 white markers and 3 black markers. I'm super excited to see what's inside, so let's open it up. The very first thing we have is a user manual that comes with some instructions, safety precautions, and notes. Next up, we have a printed swatch card of our 48 colors, as well as 2 swatch cards for us to fill out later on in this video. And just after that, I present to you the actual markers in the set. Right off the bat, when I saw that these markers were already organized in rainbow order, I was so happy because that is such a time saver. Not only that, but the way it's organized actually corresponds perfectly with the swatch card, so that just made things super efficient. Now, as for the individual markers, each of these markers are labeled with their separate color codes. They also have like a little window at the side of the barrel where we can see exactly how much ink is left inside our marker. The color is also labeled at the top and the bottom. And for anyone who's wondering, yes, the cap does very successfully fit at the back of the marker. By the way, these are direct ink brush markers, which essentially means that they do not need to be activated. All you have to do is literally just shake your markers and then get straight to creating. Honestly, not having to reorganize these markers or activate them was such a huge time saver. And of course, the added bonus was that I could get straight to the swatching part. As I was swatching these markers, something that impressed me more than anything else was their performance on the black swatch card, because I was not expecting the first coat to be this opaque. Like, that's honestly really impressive. By the way, like I mentioned before, this marker set does come with 3 black markers and 3 white markers, and I'm so happy that that's the case because usually these are the colors that will run out first, but since we have 3 of each, we don't have to worry about that problem. Anyways, with that, our swatch cards are officially complete, and here's how they look. I am personally very happy with the color variety in this marker set. As you can see, there are a lot of different shades for each of the colors, and I'm really happy with the inclusion of grays as well. And of course, our 3 black and 3 white markers. Overall, I'm pretty happy. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. With great power comes great responsibility, and today in my hands I have the power of acrylic paint markers. So instead of making just a simple drawing in my sketchbook, I'm going to be trying to draw on some different surfaces. Starting it off with this canvas heart magnet, I want to go ahead and draw a rainbow squiggly checkerboard pattern and write a word on top. So starting it off, I used a light color to go ahead and sketch in the lines for my squiggly random checkerboard pattern, and then I picked out my colors. And after that, I was all set to begin the coloring process. Now with these markers, I have to say I love the fact that they have a brush tip because the brush nib made everything so easy. I could draw precise lines and color within them, and I love the flexibility that the brush tip gave me. I could draw thin lines, thick lines, it was easy to add small details, it was easy to color in large areas. The actual brush nib itself was ideal because it was flexible but also sturdy at the same time, which is the perfect combination because that way you can like bend the marker and achieve those different line weights without worrying about it being frayed really easily. Also, these markers were so juicy, like throughout the entirety of my process, I noticed that the markers did not seem to dry out. They were really juicy, and just look at the ink right now. With the first coat, it already looks so opaque because sometimes with slightly more pastel colors, they may look a little more translucent, but even with the pastel colors and the dark colors, I was really happy with the way the color was looking from the very first coat. I did go in and add a second coat for that extra vibrancy, but honestly I'm happy with how vibrant they look right now. Also, it was at this point that I decided that I didn't like the color palette that I went with, so I changed it, and changing it was so easy. I had to layer the color that I wanted on top of the previous color once or twice, and then boom, I'm done. The orange turned into pink, the yellow turned into cream, and the green on the very right turned into that beautiful cream color as well. And now I'm very happy with how this color palette looks. After that, I used that same cream color to go ahead and write the word hey on top. And again, the marker was super opaque, so adding this on top of the previous colors was super easy. I also added a slight shadow around the writing, and finally signed off my little artwork here because we are officially done. And here is how our final product is looking. I love the way this turned out. I could not have asked for anything better than this, and the best part was how much fun it was to work on, so that got me really excited for this next one. So the next surface we're going to be drawing on is glass. So before me today we have a very cute little glass candy jar, and we're going to try and draw a little design on the front. So I wanted to go ahead and draw a little scenery with some clouds, a rainbow, and a flower. Starting it off, I used white to draw in the clouds, and something that I noticed was that the very first coat was kind of watery, and I was a little worried that it might not stick. But as it turns out, once the first coat had completely dried, after I went over it with a second coat, everything started to settle in a bit more and look more opaque. So that's when I decided that instead of going in directly with the colors that I wanted to use, that I would rather lay down a base white color for all the shapes first, so that I could then go over it with the actual colors that I want to use for this little design. I feel like doing it this way was definitely such a big time saver. Also, here's how it looks with one coat, and here's how it looks with two. So now that we've got our base layer all done and complete and dry, the next step is to go ahead and pick out our main colors and start coloring. So with these colors, I picked out a very simple color palette, which was essentially just 3 different shades of pink, and then a yellow and a blue. And I love how simple it looks. Oh, and also green for the leaves as well. And I love the way that the colors just go together. I think it's such a cute color palette. I also did 2 coats of each of these colors just to make sure that everything looks really nice and opaque. And I'm really happy that the marker did not become watery at this point in time. I think it was just the first coat where it didn't kind of stick to the glass, but as I added more and more coats, the ink started to stick better. I also went ahead and added some sparkles because we want this to look super magical and cutesy. And of course, signing it off, but this time on the lid just for fun. And we're done. This is how item number 2 turned out. And now it's time for the third project today, and for this one I'm going to be drawing in my mixed media sketchbook. Now initially I was going to draw a special Halloween girl because Halloween is coming up, and by coming up I mean it's about a month away, but everyone seems to be very festive right about now. I was all ready and set. I made a practice sketch in my sketchbook and I had the entire color palette mapped out in my head, but then I changed my mind. And the thing is, I didn't feel like drawing a human, and because I didn't feel like drawing a human, I didn't force myself to draw a human. Instead, I wanted to draw something more textured and colorful. So I picked a different subject and I found a really nice reference. And can you guys guess what I'm drawing? Okay, I'll tell you. I'm drawing a frog sitting on a flower, and I was so excited for this because I can't remember the last time I tried to draw a realistic frog. In fact, I don't think I ever tried to draw a realistic frog, but today we're gonna go for a semi-realistic frog. And what I mean by semi-realistic is we are aiming for a painterly, texturized style, which you will understand once I start coloring. Anyways, once I had my sketch done, I went ahead and lightened it and began the coloring process. And do you know what my plan was for the coloring process today? My entire plan was to go ahead, pick an area to work on, color in the base color, and then add random blobs of color everywhere. That was my plan because I wanted this to be unlike anything that I've ever created before. And in order to do that, I have to be super spontaneous and random and not be a perfectionist and just really trust the process. So essentially, I just added blobs of color everywhere. I looked at my reference image for some inspiration and ideas, but most of it was just super random, spontaneous, unplanned, and it really required me to trust the process, which I definitely think I did for this drawing. The only thing about this drawing that was really bothering me had to be the eyes, because it felt really odd drawing eyes that way, but that's the way they looked in the reference image, and it'll make sense once you guys see me drawing the eyes. But at the end, I think it looks kind of cute. The way that the frog's eyes are looking in different directions ended up looking really cute and adorable, so again, that was yet another trust the process moment. Anyways, as I continue working on this drawing, I'm going to take this chance to just go ahead and share my thoughts about this marker set and to tell you guys what I think about it. Now, starting it off with the pros, I like the fact that these markers don't require to be activated. They are ready to use. You can just open them up, shake the marker, and get straight to drawing. I also like the case that the markers came in. I think it's like really portable and easy to carry around, especially if you're traveling or you want to draw on the go. I'm also really happy with the way that these markers worked on different surfaces. As you guys saw, we did try it out on canvas and glass and paper, and for each of these surfaces I had no problems whatsoever. Aside from that, the brush tip of the markers were super flexible, and it was really nice to work with them because I was able to get a variety of different line weights, and it was just a really fun experience. As you can see me doing right now, I was able to go ahead and shade in areas very easily. Aside from that, the actual ink in the markers is really nice because it's super opaque. As you saw earlier, they appeared really well even on the black swatch card too. Aside from that, I love that this marker set came with 3 white markers and 3 black markers, since these are the colors that people usually tend to use up first, including me. Now, besides what I've already mentioned, some other cool things are how the cap does fit on the back of the marker. Also, you can see how much ink is left inside the marker via the little window on the barrel. The marker itself also was really nice to use on paper because sometimes there is some tearing that occurs with some markers, but with these markers, as you can see, they did not tear the paper. They were quite soft on the paper, and with this specific drawing, I did not experience any bleed through or ghosting on the other side of the paper as well. And overall, I think that sums up all my thoughts pretty well. Those are all the pros that I have with these markers. Now, in terms of some things that I think could be changed and or improved, I would say that if this set had a couple more skin tones, that would be really nice, especially for someone like me who tends to draw people often. I also think that some of the colors are quite similar, like some of the greens are really similar. So if there could be a little bit of a variation between them, that would be pretty cool as well. But aside from that, I'm really happy with everything else. Like I said, the packaging, the functionality of the markers, the way that they work on different surfaces, everything else is really cool. So yeah, those are all my thoughts on these markers. By the way, if you want to check out these markers for yourself, I will have them linked in the description of this video. Also, these markers are available on Ohuhu's website, Amazon, and more. All you have to do is search Ohuhu paint markers on all these platforms and you can go ahead and grab your deal. And in addition to that, I have a very special coupon code that I want to share with you specifically. So this coupon code is for all my wonderful magical sparks, and the coupon code is SparkleColor10. I'll have it up on the screen right now as well. And this code offers a 10% discount and can be used on all products on the Ohuhu website. It will be valid from the 17th of September and will last for 1 year. So feel free to use the code to enjoy the discounts on Ohuhu's website. Also, if you've managed to watch all this way into this video, which is 14 minutes and 45 seconds, without skipping or fast forwarding, you are truly a legend. Thank you so much for the support. And if you'd like to let me know that you made it this far, feel free to comment this emoji down below. Thank you so much once again. And with that, let's head back to our drawing. As you can see, I'm currently wrapping things up. I decided to color in our flower with a pink color, even though in the reference image it was red. I feel like pink would look really nice with green, which reminds me of Wicked. Pink goes good with green. Do you guys get the reference? And I also used some yellow and purple to kind of represent the lighting. And once I was done, I honestly wanted to leave it just like that, but I thought that adding a small square behind our frog might help to bring everything together and to make it look more in position on the page. So I added the teeniest, tiniest blue background. Once that was done, I signed it off because guess what? We are officially done with this drawing, and I think we all know exactly what that means. It is officially time for the grand reveal. Starting it off with our heart magnet, here is how it's looking. I think it looks so cool. When I showed my parents, they genuinely thought that we bought it from a store, but they couldn't believe that I made it, which was crazy to me because I saw this come together and it was such a fun process. I love the way it looks. It's so colorful and pretty, and of course, it works perfectly as well, so I found a very nice place for it on our fridge. I also love that it matches with my desk mat. Pretty cool, right? Next up, we have our candy jar, and I love the way this looks. It's so cute and pastel and magical. The rainbow, the sun, the flower, the clouds, absolutely perfect. And of course, my signature at the top as well. I think this looks really cool, but you know what would make it look even cooler? Now that would be filling up this lolly jar with actual lollies. So let's go ahead and do it. Not only is this incredibly cute and functional, but it also sounds so satisfying when I shake it, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Why does that sound so satisfying? And now it's time for our final project that we worked on today, which is this drawing of our adorable little frog. I love the way he turned out. Let me know if you have any name suggestions in the comments down below because I want something super creative and super original, so let me know what you think in the comments. I am a huge fan of not only the texture of this drawing, but also how shiny and glossy it looks because of the white pen I used on top. I think it looks so adorable, but also so like semi-realistic at the same time. This is honestly such a new style to me, and I'm super happy that I gave it a try today. I'm happy with how all 3 of these projects turned out, and I want to send out a very big thank you to Ohuhu for sending me your art supply to try out. I loved using it and trying it out on all these different surfaces. And again, just another reminder, if you'd like to check out this art supply for yourself, I will have it linked in the description of this video, and make sure to use the coupon code SPARKLECOLOR10, which will be displayed on the screen right now, to enjoy a 10% discount on all products on the Ohuhu website. More information will be in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching and have a fabulous day.